I'm the Commissar. We are watching Forged Alliance Forever, and that looks awfully like it's going to be some 3v3 ladder, and you'd be right, it is some 3v3 ladder. This is my last cast for a couple of weeks, because I'm going on holiday. I'll be back in April, but until then, you're just going to have to live with this. On that note, let's get stuck in. Hot team in the northeast, cold team in the southwest. Let's meet hot team first. Up here, we have GuaTypecat, 1062 rated and Cybrans. He's in orange, I'll call him Gua. To his south, we have Shpalla, 1285 rated and also Cybrans. He's in burgundy. And finally, for the hot team, this is Amotero. He is 1209 rated, he's also Cybrans, and he's in red. So an all-Cybran team for the hot side. And mirroring them in the south for cold team, this is warrenkc. He's 1011 rated and Eon, and he's in mauve. In front of him is Martian, 1412 rated and Seraphim in dark blue. And last but not least, this is Gappy 4200, who's 1127 rated and UEF in baby blue. So the first thing I'm noticing here is that we have a bit of an interesting faction face-off. 3 Cybrans on one team versus all the other factions combined gagging up on the other team. Now let's have a look at the map. That's a lot of reclaim. Big patches of reclaim all across here and mirroring them here. I think that's mostly going to be wrecks. Yes, look, you can see these are all delicious damaged units scattered across the map here. And so getting those early is going to be a priority of the players. These expansion points are going to be reasonably uncontested for the various teams, I think, but these are going to be fought over quite a bit, and there's not a great deal of mass to go around on this map. So getting the early reclaim, getting these mass points and upgrading them is going to be important. I don't feel like this lake is going to contribute much. Among other things, it's surrounded by cliffs, so you can't really shoot up easily. You can't get down onto it, so we might see the Cybran players doing some silly Salem shenanigans, but I don't know. Early builds. Quite greedy engineers out here from Gappy. Bit more in the way of aggression from Martian. And so similar on the other side, we have Shpalla sending out engineers, but a bit more in the way of aggression from Amotero. Now, wherever the comms going and wherever the engineers going, this is going to be important to see which of the mass fields are going to be contested. So this one here, we got Amotero. This huge one here, we've got both these cold team comms coming forward, but we have Shpalla coming forward to contest this off Gappy, whereas neither Martian nor Warren are planning to contest this off Amotero, so we'll see if hot team gets more eco off it. And we've got these lab scout pairs, which I like, coming out from Gappy, but unfortunately for Gappy, all they're really going to tell him is that Shpalla is on his way to eat up this mass. Actually, I don't know, this pair might steer something, but Shpalla is already supporting his NGs with tanks, and as if that weren't enough, Gua is on his way. So unfortunately for cold team, I don't think the early aggression is going to pay off. This should drop to get this field of reclaim from Gua, but it's not going to go uncontested because Warren is sending a transport to try and fight him for this field. There's a scuffer over here on this expansion, which is won by Martian, but I don't think it's going to keep Amotero off it that long. He isn't actually fighting for this bit in the trench, he's going up here and on the water, and thanks to this radar, Gua will see it, so we'll see whether that gets enough work done. This NG's already paid for himself. However, we have the comms about to engage here, and this could be where it matters. So here on the left we have this comm scuffle, but here on the right we've got 2 tanks from Martian that have snuck by into relatively undefended eco belonging to Amotero, quite near his base, and they've picked up an NG, they're going to pick up another NG, and they're just running on by because these have stopped, and they might come back here and get a mix or another NG. Now Shpalla, as we can see, he wasn't really worrying about shooting at Gappy, he was just trying to get the reclaim and run away. And over here, we can see that Amotero has noticed, but these tanks are still dodging, and they take out a mech. That's nice. Will they get a second? No, they won't, but still, 2 NGs in a mech. Nice raid. That said, it looks like Shpalla has managed to repay the favour to Gappy on the other side, getting this 1 Mantis here, and there's nothing here to stop it. Gappy will have to notice, but he's going to lose 3 mechs and might lose that NG as well. Speaking of reclaim, Hot Team are indeed a bit ahead, probably thanks to Shpalla, but not a game-changing amount, not yet, I wouldn't say. Little bit of bomber harass from... I actually saw some from both sides a second ago, so could help, but nothing immensely game-changing right now. And we can see that all 3 of those mexes have been taken out, so he's going to have to bring this NG back, but he is going to kill Shpalla's tank. Gappy has pushed forward to about the same position as Amotero. Oh, we have another NG drop coming in from Warren, and there's still a little bit to pick up over here. That could be nice if he can grab it. 1,000 or so mass, and he's also accompanied it with a Fervor and a Thistle, an AA and an RT for defense. So, can he grab enough to pay for the engineer and those tanks? It looks like yes he can. Though I'm sure Shpalla will notice it soon. Now, Gappy hasn't committed to an attack here yet. Martian is teching up his comm and getting help from Warren. He's definitely going for offensive with T2 and gun, so I'm expecting him to charge forward, put up some PDs and keep the creep going. We also have gun coming in for Shpalla. Gappy remains naked, Gu is falling back. And do we have anything on Warren? We do not. Little exploratory bomber from Warren there, but we've got good air cover from Gua, so it didn't really get anything done. Little advance here from Gappy. But there's a comm here, he knows there's a comm here, and his comm is not with his spam, so if the and it's being pung there, so if his spam is caught out by the comm or this spam, it just dies. He needs to bring his comm forward and have it meet up here, otherwise he could just lose this essentially for free. Martian doing the right thing here was sending his comm in at the front before bringing his tanks in to follow. His tanks are faster, so they'll catch up, but he still wants them a bit behind the comm. So good micro there from Martian. And he's going to push forward, and here it is Amotero who's got his comm a bit out of position. If Martian comes forward, like one T2 point defense here could lock down this could lock down this expansion and deal with this entire army. Nope, Amotero is reacting, but there's this gun T2 comm here plus his spam, and all of this is going to die because Amotero isn't in position to help out. That said, he's also naked, so I think Amotero just needs to fall back and not let Martian kill all his stuff until he's in a position to fight back. There's also Warren coming in, but Warren is naked and doesn't have a great deal of spam with him. Here on the left, Shpalla advances, and Gappy is routed to the spot, getting gun. So he's having to fall back in the face of this comm until he finishes it. Over here, Martian is continuing the push, and As we saw before, Amotero just doesn't have the firepower to hold him right now. He's bringing in bombers, but there's enough anti-air in here for Martian to just take it out. However, Gappy's finished the gun, and he's using his spam to support since his commander is quite injured, and it is Shpalla's turn to fall back. Amotero is definitely getting out of the way there, but he's got Urshibols coming in now, and that might be enough to see off this spam. Both Gappy and Shpalla on half health. Shpalla's also got stealth. Gappy doesn't have any equivalent for the UEF, and I think Shpalla might have a little more in the way of units. He's also got bomber support coming in from Gua. And Gappy is feeling a bit out of position. His tanks are dying. And if Shpalla was to charge across here, I think he might kill him. Okay, Amotero is falling back a little bit. But he's got a decent line of Urshis here, and that's poor positioning, unfortunately, from Warren. So he's just going to lose this entire army to the Urshis. Gappy taking damage from the bombers. Oops, that was some good camera work there, pro-casting. And Shpalla thinks he sees the opportunity and he charges in, and Gappy has retreated his tanks a bit too far. He's now in range of Shpalla's comm, and it's just Shpalla and the bombers raining fire down on him. I don't think Gappy is going to get out of this. Boom! Our first ejection from the game just past 11 minutes. And over here, we've got Amotero. I think he's going for gun there. And Martian doesn't have enough to push all of this yet, so he'll probably get it without a problem. Now, Gua's bombers, which were so helpful in wearing down Gappy, are making a beeline here for Martian. But Martian with his T2 can probably weather a decent amount of bombers, and he's got a lot of T1 anti-air mixed into this force, so I don't think the bombers are going to achieve much. But this T2, these Urshis from Amotero, might achieve rather more. They've got to be careful. I would, in his position, wait until my comm had the gun upgrade, and then support them with that. Urshis, hoplites. I'm too used to think it's Martian who's got Urshis, and he's bringing a couple in, and if he's able to bulk up this army with some Urshis, it could be more than a match for what Amotero has against him. However, Martian is looking a little bit exposed with his comm. There's enough of a T2 force here to threaten it, while his tanks and bots are out of the way over here. And I actually don't like Martian's position. I think he might have overextended a little bit right here. But he's falling back. Is it going to be enough? He's in the yellow. And these units are sneaking in. They're surrounding him. He's brought his own tanks, but these are mostly T1, just a couple of Urshis, and those hoplites can put up... He's into the red. Are we about to see Martian ejected from the game? He's running. 1,700 hit points. But I think that he's got enough to hold it. Yes, Martian escapes with just 1,700 hit points. That's insanely close. Over here on the left, Shpalla is setting up a base with which to hold off... Well, I was going to say Gappy, but he killed Gappy. These are now inherited by Martian. Martian's got quite a decent sized force here too, with a decent amount of T2 in. But this is exclusively T2 from Shpalla. I don't think it's quite enough though, especially with the comm just feeling slightly out of position over here. He could bring this in here and help out, but this cliff might prove a problem if he's not careful. He's put up some production here at T1. Is Shpalla gonna hold? Nano is gonna be a very much needed repair for Martian, and in combination with the T2 and his 3 veterancies, it will make him pretty chunky when it's done, and I don't think he's gonna have a problem finishing that. Shpalla is positioning himself carefully here, and I think he has got enough to see off this push from Martian. So map control swinging a little anti-clockwise with Shpalla coming down here, but Martian pushing up here. And now that he's got that nano, Martian is heading forward again. And he's got a big force of Ilshis here. If I were Amotero, who's now got gun and getting stealth, I would be a little scared of that, because he's got a bit of T2, but Ilshis are the best T2 bots, the best T2 ground units for just having a fight. I've said it before and I'll say it again. And Martian with his gun nano T2 is a formidable comm in and of himself. So Amotero either needs something really big on his comm or a lot more spam, and he has neither. Shpalla advancing again round here. Will he get any work done on this? I think that there's now enough here from Martian to stop it. He's applying pressure and there is no comm to defend, but yeah, there's enough shields here and enough T2 that I don't think Shpalla has enough. I think Shpalla is gonna be forced to fall back here. Yeah, look at that. He's gonna get shredded and his comm is wisely retreating. Martian pushing forward, bows of brass. Amotero a little far forward, but with those 20,000 hit points from Martian's comm, he's going to be able to give a good account of himself, but I think he really does need to bring these units, to support him in order to be safe. And he takes a few volleys at long range from those hoplites. Hoplites very good at dealing out massive damage at long range, as long as they can stay at range and not have their paper armor shredded when something gets too close. And Amotero is doing a good job of that. But Martian is going to bring in his entire army, and that could be a problem for Amotero. Amotero has got to T3 and he's building bricks. So if he can get bricks out, that will see this off no problem. But if Martian can push in and do damage before the bricks come out, there's T2 point defense, but one T2 point defense isn't going to be enough against this much firepower, I don't think. In it comes. And Martian's units are dying, but are they dying fast enough to save Amotero's base? Brick nearly complete. If he can take out this HQ, that's the word, that would be great though. Taking out these P-gens, also great. And I think he's going to take out the P-gens for certain. The brick is out. The brick is out, but there's only one of it. A nice overcharge from Martian, who's now on 4 vets with his comm, would see to it. And he does. Down it goes, and Amotero's lost both his T2 P-gens, and he's gonna be power locked. That's gonna hurt. T3 Mex is under fire from Martian's comm. I think he's targeting the HQ, and the Mex just happens to be in the way. And good support, Swifties out from Warren, preventing the Corsairs that are coming in from Gua to do too much damage. And a lot of them have been going for the comm snipe, but with that nano, that T2, those 4 vets, soon to be 5 looking at that, Martian is going to be very hard to kill. However, he's now been surrounded by a lot of T2 units, by Amotero's comm, and he's going to fall back. The T3 HQ is still up, the T3 Mexes are still up, but Warren is going for a run-by with his T1 tanks. However, Amotero has seen it, and is going to cut most of it off. Martian is taking damage, and I'm seeing a tactical missile fly overhead. We've got a tactical missile launched from Warren back here, and it takes out the HQ. That's an amazing pick-off for Code Team. Amotero can no longer build bricks. He can no longer even build T2 units, so if Martian can just kill these, he's going to be just fine, and he's bringing in more Ilshis. to support. Oh no, there is one more brick that he got out, and where's the overcharge from Martian? I think the brick might actually survive, it's falling back, but Martian gets out of there and the tactical missile takes out a T3 mech. A T3 mech out, a T3 HQ out, all his power out. Amotero was brutalized by that attack. I love it. And the trickle of Corsairs isn't really achieving much against the Swifties, against the flak. And Martian pushes in the game, but there are now 2 bricks because Shpalla also has the ability to produce bricks and he's sending them in, and Martian might have overextended. He's deep into the red and he can't overcharge these bricks fast enough. The Guncom, the bricks, they rain down fire upon him. 2 and boom! Martian, after a beautiful attack on Amotero, comes in again, overextends, and Shpalla's units hit him and he is taken out. And Warren is suddenly all on his own, the game's lowest rated player against the entirety of the Cybran nation. And what's he going to do? Well, he's trickled a few boys across here, which is pretty nice. If he can take out one of these mexes with this little T1 hover spam raid going across the lake, that would be very nice, because they weren't expecting anything to come up through here, and so they didn't have anything on hand to stop it. But since you can't send hover arty when you're Eon, I don't think he's got enough to take out one of these mexes before there's 1 rhino, well 2 rhinos, are able to clear it up. He does, however, have T3 land on the field. There's a Percy out here. And he's planning to bring them across here to help out with his attack. His comm's quite far up front, and he's enjoying this tactical missile play. He's got 2 more tactical missile launchers out. And he's bringing this entire army round. I'm not sure I like that. There's a big army here. It's mostly T2, but we know that Shpalla has T3 production, and indeed he is bringing some up right here, and this could be vulnerable, especially this little expansion, if Warren doesn't bring units here to defend, and indeed this army is coming back. So I don't super like that positioning from Warren, but it could be worse. And those tactical missile launchers are firing, and he is trying to take out Shpalla's HQ as well. That will be very nice, stop any T3 land production if they all hit. And I see another round of missiles firing off from the base, but there are bricks now coming in here from Shpalla, sneaking around this way, and Warren is gonna have difficulty. He might lose this if he doesn't fall back, if he doesn't bring support. But Shpalla's T3 HQ is down, so that's beautiful. No more bricks for a while from the Cybran nation. And Warren is massing an army here to defend this expansion. This expansion hasn't teched up yet, which I can see why he wouldn't do it. It's quite far away, but he needs to hold that, because 3 mechs worth is going to be quite a lot. And the tactical missiles are flying over. We have a big horde of dudes coming from Gua to put up TMD here. But I think we're going to see a few T2 mexes go down first, which is nice. And look at this, that's 2 T3 mexes picked off, 1 T2 mex, and 2 T3 HQs. Those tactical missile launchers have very much done the dirty work and paid for themselves, but they're now going down to these bricks, and these Ilshis, while nice, aren't enough to stop 2 bricks, and so the tactical missile launchers will, I think, be destroyed. Now we have a restorer out here, and it's tickling Shpalla, but Shpalla is just eating that. 1 restorer isn't enough to snipe a bomb, and there's no T3 ASF support, which Gua can send ASFs, and they'll just eat that restorer, no problem, and they'll probably eat this T1 interceptor force as well. So Warren needs to pivot into only ASFs, and indeed there he is, he's getting out ASFs rather than focusing on air to ground until and if he's able to win air. But these Percys have now come through that same little hole in the lake, using their ability to go underwater and set up camp here. Now, this could be nice if they could push in and get some work done here, but it could be that Warren has forgotten them, because to give him his credit, he's managing an entire 3-race base pretty well against 3 players, and he's got to worry about these attacks, because Amotero has come forward. He can probably take out these... I think he took a hit from one of those tactical missiles, actually. But he's falling back, and when you've got a comm on the move, it's very hard to hit them with tactical missile launchers. Also, Warren can't see him because he's got stealth. So Warren doesn't know where he is anymore. Those Percys are being pung, presumably by Code Team to say get them on the move, but Shpalla might just walk into them, which would be a bit of a mistake if he did, though he's probably got the overcharge. Shpalla must know they're there. Yeah, he does, he can see them. We'll talk about eco in a moment. Warren has the eco lead. He opens fire, but I'm not seeing an overcharge when the 2 Percys spin around. Boom. Where are the overcharges from Shpalla? He needs to overcharge these Percys, otherwise he's just going to take a bunch of free hits from them. What's going on here? It's Shpalla. There's a bit of Corsair support, but that's not going to be an... Boom. Shpalla just walks past the Percys and dies. I don't know what he was thinking there. Did he forget to overcharge? Did he... Does he have the ability to overcharge? In theory, yes. But what happened there? He just let himself be shot by Percys. A bit of a misstep, and now Amotero has inherited all his stuff. This is a firebase going up with a decent amount of point defense, and it looks like Amotero's planning to just hold on this side now. Or Amotero / Shpalla. And that implies that he's going to try and build up here and push forward on this side, would be my guess, since he hasn't got as much fortification here, but he's got his comm here, he's got units here. We'll see whether that prediction turns out to be correct. And the Percys have taken out this mech as well before being picked off by bombers. So I promised I'd talk about eco, and look at this. Hot Team have more mass total, thanks to partially to a reclaim lead, but also because Warren has only just caught them up in eco, thanks to things like those TML snipes of the T3 mexes and those Percys getting damage done. But Warren is now 100 eco ahead, which is not insignificant. That's like 30% lead for him. And if that is allowed to continue, then Warren will be able to build things like that. Warren has just completed a GC down here. There it is. And that could be a bit of a game changer. Do we have any experimentals coming down for the Cybrans? I don't see any. What's his plan with the GC? I feel that pushing it in round here would be nice, but bringing it in with this army to push Amotero off the expansions here, get some mass damage done quite far away. Well, this is a good counter to GCs though. Gua has a bunch of Corsairs, which he's massing. And Warren's going to have to be careful. Warren's comm is in the water, so unless Hot Team know about it, which they don't, then I would say that Warren is safe there. It's the GC that those Corsairs are going to need to worry about. And of course, doesn't have any anti-air, the Galactic Colossus. It's going to have to rely on... I don't like this though. Let's have a quick air count. ASFs for Warren, 4. ASFs for Gua, 16. So these restorers are not a good choice. He doesn't have enough anti-air to defend them. But it looks like these aren't going for the GC. These are going to try and inflict damage on the base. What are they going to hurt? What are they going to try and take out? Mexes, by the look of things. 2 mexes have their caps removed by the first wave of Corsairs, and the Corsairs have enough support to come back round for a second shot. 1 T3 mix down. 2 T3 mix down. This could hurt Warren's eco and severely... Yeah, look, they've caught up in eco now. A second ago it's saying that Warren had 100 eco lead. Now he doesn't have an eco lead. Is he going to lose any more for the air to ground? I don't think he is, but that's got to hurt. Meanwhile, where's that GC gone? He's brought it up this side. And this is a sneaky little raid. Could take out a mech or two down here. His answer to the eco problem is getting ARAS on his comm, which will give him a nice extra boost. Spearheads. I like spearheads. I think they're an underused unit, as I think I said quite recently, and they'll be able to utterly mash this expansion if left unmolested. But these guys need to move forward and support them so that the spearheads can keep firing, because there isn't enough here from Amotero to take out this force. And now he brings them up in support, and this could be quite damaging for Amotero. He could lose this expansion, which is 3 capped T2 mexes. Not an easy thing to lose. And the GC is... And now we have an order for the GC to advance. I think Warren's being quite tentative with it, and I do think he needs to get in there and get damage done. I'm still not seeing any experimental production for the Cybrans, but the sooner the better, and I think we have some Corsairs coming to try and take out the spearheads. Are they going to get anything done? No. They're going to pull back, and I can see why. There's T3 anti-air, there's I think some T2 anti-air in... No, T3 and T1 anti-air in there. But enough to hurt the Corsairs. However, Warren really needs to stop producing restorers until he's absolutely got enough ASFs to match Guas. And the Colossus is coming through here. Again, I don't like that. It's a Colossus. The whole point is that it can just hit things in the face and hurt them. And because it can go through the water but the Ilshis can't, it means that it's separated from the Ilshis. So overall, I don't like that. If he really wants to hit here, he should bring the whole army up here. But I think he would do better hitting here and then here with the GC. And now, this group of Ilshis, because all the AA has gone to protect the Colossus, this group of Ilshis can just be eaten up with completely for free by the Whalers from Amotero and the Corsairs from Gua. And we are seeing ASFs now coming off the blocks for Warren, but it won't be enough really to save these Ilshis in any way. The Ilshis have just walked into... And these AA need to come and support this GC. Otherwise the GC is going to take damage for free from these Corsairs. Look at that, it's got nothing to answer this. This AA needs to catch up. And it's already lost a significant portion of its health. Warren's ASFs come in to counter the Corsairs, and it looks like Gua's going to take the air fight. Again, these restorers, I think they're a mistake. The fight is going down over AA from Warren though, and that could help him out. But it's not going to help him out enough. Even so, he is going to lose the air fight. However, that doesn't change the fact that this is now a GC and a pretty enormous army coming in. And if he can push in, it could do a lot of damage, but that's a lot of bricks from Amotero. And the GC needs this army up there with it in support, because if that GC goes in on its own, these bricks just mash it, and I'm a little worried that it's a little too far ahead of the rest of its army, because all these bricks are going to focus on it. These guys are not in range to do the damage in response, and indeed, this GC is just going to be eaten. it drops into the red. It turns around rather than try and get a few last shots off before it dies, and I don't like that either. And it's just gonna die. Boom. And now there's a horrifically large, don't know what's up with my words today, horrifically large brick army coming in down here, and we have a monkey over here. The Cybrans have built a monkey lord. Is there going to be a counter over here? We do have GCs being built, and there's another one almost finished here for Warren, but he now has a problem. Does he send it this way to stop this vast horde of bricks, or does he send it this way to stop the monkey? The monkey has a little bit in support, but not much. GC on monkey 1-on-1, the GC wins. But there are these whalers for air support, which the GC doesn't have an answer to if it's on its own. And Warren finishes a nuke, so the ecos are now back to being level, as we mentioned before. Warren's lost that eco lead, but if he can get a nuke in here, and I don't think I've seen any nuke defense for the Cybran team, so that really could pay off. And again, Restorer's just not getting work done because there isn't air control. A big enough horde of Restorers can keep air control, but it has to match the ASFs pretty much 1-for-1, and it's vastly more expensive to build a Restorer than it is to build an ASF. Now, that GC we mentioned, is that a new one? That's the one that he's just finished, so where's it going to go? What's his plan? His plan is to come up here and fight the monkey, which is good, but he will need, but he's got these up to T3 in this expansion now, so that expansion is suddenly very important to defend. Is he going to be able to hold it? And he's got wave after wave of scouts pouring around the outside just to keep an eye on what's going on. And Amotero brings the horde of bricks through the water to support the monkey. Is he going to have the monkey wait until this horde of bricks catches up? Looks like yes he is. And I was going to say that would give Warren time to mass an army down here, but he's walking that GC pretty far forward. Should he wait until he's got another GC? He's taking the bird power off these. He's focusing everything on the nuke. That's now his unique selling point, as it were. He has got a fat boy under construction over here, but I don't know if he's got enough to stop all of this. That said, Amotero is pushing before this lot catches up. And if Amotero sends in this monkey with only this support, I don't know if it survives. Warren doesn't want to stay in the pond with a monkey coming because both the monkey and the bricks have torpedoes. The GC is holding position. Facing the wrong way, but holding position. And the monkey slightly falls back. I think he's waiting for this army to catch up to her, which is the right choice. How's that nuke coming? Should he nuke this monkey in this area, or should he try and nuke the base? I think nuking the base is the long-term correct option, but that implies that he's able to defend against the monkey, and is he? I don't know. The Corsairs come in, and they're going to try and hit the GC. And the GC's taking some damage, and this is now a very dangerous army indeed. And in response, Warren has swarmed pretty much his entire army up to meet it. This is going to be the fight of the day. It's left this set of T3 mechs undefended though. And this, therefore, is going to hurt a lot. That's 3 T3 mexes that this small fight of Corsairs might be able to hurt quite a bit. And Warren doesn't really have the ASFs to counter. Battle lines are being drawn. The monkeys retreated a bit. I don't know if that's the right choice. I think he had enough to push in and do some damage if he did it early. But he's now fallen back. And that is enabling Warren to build up an army, and the nuke is launched. There's one flak in here, but more Corsairs are coming in. These 3 T3 mexes might be for the chop. But you know who has a lot of T3 mexes right here? That would be Gua. And you know where that's going? I will tell you, the answer is right here. That could be 5 T3 mexes and the air rage kill for Gua, which would be a delicious kill if he can get it. And there's no SMT. He's gonna get it. Boom! The air HQ is down. 5 T3 mexes are down. Suddenly, Warren has a 150 eco lead as the nuke goes up. Gua can't build any more ASFs, though Amotero still can. That was a delicious nuke. Go and lick up those tasty Cybran tears. Taste their pain, taste their suffering. Wasn't it amazing? I have nothing against Cybrans. I often play as Cybrans. But still, their tears are tasty. Anyway, the fat boy that we saw being built earlier is now bombarding this army, and it does outrange the monkey, it does outrange the Grix, so we could see a good creep here from Warren. And he's going to advance. And the Corsairs were actually taken out by his ASFs. He only lost the cap on 2 of the mexes. Now, capping a T3 mex is the most mass efficient thing you can do to get mass. So he ought to get an NG out here and rebuild this and also shield it. But will he be able to defend against this? There is stealth in there. Does he see it coming? Oops, wrong guy. He does see it coming now, but it just winks out thanks to the stealth. So, but he knows something's there, so he will need to send some units to defend, otherwise he'll lose these T3 mexes. Do we have SMD going up for the Cybrans? Because we certainly should see some. Otherwise, what are they going to be able to do? And the fat boy creep continues. We have a crab here. Fatty outranges crab and can kite it. But I think the ideal outcome for Warren is that he's just able to keep this battle going at just the maximum range and force Amotero to try and charge in, at which point the rest of the army just engages. This trio of T3 mexes, 3 T3 mexes, is going to be killed. No questions asked. And there's a nice little horde of Percys to defend, but it won't be in time, and he's going to have to get out there and rebuild it. I think that this would be a perfect location for a firebase, while all the actual fighting goes on over here, but the nuke is out again, and who's it going for? It's going in here, and I don't super like that positioning. Why there? Is he trying to hit the Corsairs and the mexes at the same time? I would have preferred the middle of Amotero's base, to be honest. One, says Gua, is he asking whether there's any loading going on? But it gets to it, takes the Corsairs, and it takes a couple of the mexes, but I don't really like that position. And we've got a Novax out from Warren. That's going to be good for clearing up the damage that he's done here and just, you know, picking off some of these exposed mexes. We've got a crab out from Gua to join this crab out from Amotero. And I feel like Warren just hasn't been pushing quite enough. He's calling the Novaks back. Oh, he selected it with his fighters and the Novaks is now on a patrol order over his base. What a misclick. I hope he'll notice that, because the Novaks would be an excellent follow-up to the nuke if he could just get it picking off some of the stuff in these bases. And have we got any SMD yet? If so, where? I am not seeing it. So this nuke could just go on hitting stuff essentially for free. Well, for 15,000 mass per nuke, but that's basically free, am I right? And he hasn't noticed the Novaks yet. So if he, I think though that Warren just wins, which if he nukes Amotero. I am enjoying this. This is a great hold. 1 against 3, and he's the lowest rated player in the game, and he's holding. This is pretty impressive. I think he's noticed the Novaks. Yeah, look, that's heading forward now. And the nuke is loaded again. The nukes are flying thick and fast. What's he planning with it? Please, just hit here.
Strategic launch detected.
No, he is going for the army. A nuke isn't enough to kill a mega, but... Oh, lovely awareness. Amotero has guessed where it's coming, and he is splitting the army. So, we'll be able to see how much damage the nuke actually does. That wasn't much at all. Mass killage has only gone up by 6k. That didn't pay for itself, that nuke. However, the Novaks is making itself a nuisance in the way that a Novak should. These mexes being rebuilt here from that first nuke are going to be a nice target. And indeed they are from the looks of those pings, and Amotero starts and then cancels the laser. Lots of restorers. And now I don't hate this. This is a pretty big restorer cluster, and I don't hate it because he nuked that Air HQ belonging to Gua, so he's had a chance to build up a lead, but if he just parks them near this horde of T3AA, he's going to have a problem. So Warren needs to get those restorers doing something before Gua can rebuild, because he has already rebuilt his T3 HQ there. And the airfight is taken. ASFs from Amotero, ASFs from Gua, and of course gunships can shoot at other gunships, so these whalers are adding... Okay, that restorer force, which a second ago I said I liked, it's just been eaten. And now these gunships from Amotero, this big horde of whalers, are free to just go to town on Warren. Amotero again starts and cancels the laser. And the whalers look like they're going to take advantage of that air win to go in. And Amotero now has a monkey following up on this side. There's a decent amount of bricks here, and also a vast horde of ravagers. The monkey's going to have to find a better way in than there, and there's another vast horde of bricks here. Okay, that's a lot of T3 anti-air, both static and mobile, and those whalers are not actually going to get anything done. I think they were going to try and get the nuke, which is again loaded, but no such luck. Oh, this is going to be fun. The brick army is ready in defense, but the monkey is just walking around the other side of the mountain, and oh no, Warren's going round this way. He needs to bring them back here. They're just going to go round and round the mountain. I'm not going to play Yakety Sax again, but you can imagine that I did. And over here, the two big armies are engaging.
Strategic launch detected.
And we've got a nuke heading for this army. That's nice. It's going to hit and hurt both the megaliths. The spam on both sides is being eaten up, and the Novax is actually fighting the army, not the base. But look at this, all these bricks, they're so out of position, and the monkey is just going to get in here and do the dirty work. This is brutal. Warren's right here, the nuke is right here. The nuke lands, but Warren's been driven far enough back that it doesn't actually do anything. And we're now down basically just to the fatties on Warren's side, whereas we've still got both megas. We've still got a lot of bricks. This could be a big problem for Warren, but over here, this could be a bigger problem for Warren. The Ravagers are firing on the monkey. The Restorers are firing on the monkey, but the monkey is in range of the nuke. It fires upon the nuke. Boom, the nuke goes down. Oof, that is painful. The monkey goes down a second later, but the damage is done. The Restorers will clear the bricks up, but I think that's too little too late. What can Warren do? And over here he's lost his fatties and the megas continue to advance. That is brutal. And after that brutal offensive, all of this, map control, hot team, eco, hot team, everything is in favour of hot team. The Cybrans are no longer crying tears of sadness, they are laughing in their evil, robotic way at this poor alliance of the other three factions. Big tactical missile bank here, and it fires a round of rounds, but I don't think that actually did any extra damage to those megaliths. The Restorers are trying to get damage done, but this flight of ASFs is going to eat them up. That was a good tactical missile hit, taking half the hit points off one of the megas. But I don't think half the hit points off one of the megas, and that one's just going to miss, is going to be enough. I think that Warren, despite a most glorious hold, is going to go out. So, 1 against 3, very heroic. But where do I think he could have done a bit better? The nuke, I think, is the really big turning point. I think that if he'd nuked Amotero's base, rather than trying to nuke either of the armies, if he just kept the nuke barrage heading into the bases of Hot Team, rather than trying to worry about their armies when he could build units in his base to defend, multiple Novax coming out in defense, and this is, to give him his credit, a decent amount of bricks. That could be a problem. But there's a nuclear missile defense on 142 hits sitting here in his base, and it's loaded. So I think that nuke is going to be shot down. But do you know what a nuke defense does not defend against? It does not defend against 2 megaliths. In fact, if I'm being technical about it, a nuke defense doesn't even defend against 1 megalith. And there's just enough air support that Restorers don't do anything. This bank of Ravagers outranges the megaliths, but the megas are down here and the Ravagers are up here. And the megas can just walk down around the bottom and do all the damage. This fat boy isn't going to be finished. I thought that Warren was going to be able to win this, which would have been an amazing response to losing 2 of his team members. But we have what I would consider a comeback from a comeback. Our Hot Team are marching into Warren's base, and there's nothing he's able to do about it. The novices go down. The Fat Boy is destroyed before it's finished. 2 megas with 5 vets each is pretty impressive, and Warren, I think, is resigned to his fate. His comm is standing here, and as soon as they notice him, well, they do know where he is. In come the bricks, in come the megas. F's in the chat for Warren's comm. As the bricks and megas advance upon him. He's not even shooting back. I see over there those 2 GC foundations were still there after all this time. Amotero, my dude, just turn those megas around and shoot the comm, please. I'm in suspense. Yes, no? Oh, that looks promising. And fire. Oh, come on, my dude. One shot and then the megas turn away. What is this? Somebody's pinging it saying, get your act together and shoot the comm. And they focus him. Boom. Great game from everyone. And Gua finishes T3 Arty just as the game ends. I thought Warren was going to win. Well, first I thought the Cybrans were going to win when they killed Martian and were advancing across the map. Then Warren came up with his great comeback, and then the Cybrans came up with a comeback to a comeback. I hope you like Cybrans, because the all-Cybran team has just wiped the floor. So, the big question, of course, is how could Warren have won? I told you I think it's going to be the nukes in the base rather than on the armies, but I want to hear your opinions. Tell me in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey, because I'm the Commissar, and I will see you, not for a couple of weeks, back in April, but I will see you next time.